friends, welcome in. This video comes to us as a wonderful request from Marnie. It came from my comments section in a recent video, and it definitely just jumped my list because I was so excited to do this for you guys. And it's basically just really simple. The best makeup you can find at Walmart. And no, this is not sponsored by Walmart. I know a lot of Walmart sponsorships are going around these days. But over the last few days, I've just had my notes app open and I've been like adding to my list, tweaking, adjusting my list of what I think the best makeup is you can find there. And Marnie's point of view was that she lives in an area where there isn't an Ulta or a Sephora anywhere close, so it's kind of like if she wants to go browse makeup, buy makeup in person, Walmart is it. And I totally understand that because that was my entire childhood. And if I did have access to a Sephora or an Ulta, I doubt I would have gotten to do a whole lot of shopping there anyway. But if Walmart is what you got, I think there's some major points in your favor here. Number one, I feel like they're getting more and more variety all the time. Different brands floating in. At least where I live, I feel like the beauty section has definitely expanded in the last few years for sure. Also, I always run into the lowest prices on makeup at Walmart. You might find the exact same product for $2 to $3 to $4 more maybe at Walgreens. Now you might get those BOGO half off deals, but I think Walmart stays pretty much at the lowest. But in many of these categories, it was tough to pick just one thing. Like there were multiple things that I loved. And if I go through this whole video and you're like, well, why didn't you mention such and such from this brand? Well, I'm trying to narrow down as best I can, you know? So let's dive in. We're gonna do the full face and I'll just chat about the stuff as I use it. The first thing is primer. And I would say I've been really impressed by some of the different primers from CoverGirl. They seem to have kind of a wide variety of different types that they're offering. I really like the moisturizing one. This feels so good. It gives you a little added moisture boost, but it's still, by the time you're done, like blending it in, things feel softer and a little more silky on the skin. But if you're oily, if you're into kind of the pore filling type of effect, I think the pore minimizing is another great option. It says visibly reduces and blurs pores while mattifying shine, and it is oil free. And there's even more options within their line of primers, so something to look into, but today I'm gonna use the moisturizing version. And a little tip that I gave in a video not too long ago is don't overuse your primer, because that's where you can stop feeling the real effect of the primer on your skin when you're just working with too much. Then it just starts to feel creamy. Then it just starts to feel like another level of moisturizer. But if you don't put too much on, you can kind of really sense the texture a bit more. And here I can tell, yes, it's giving my skin a little added moisture, but there's kind of a silky softness, and I love that. All right, foundation. Tough one because we're all so different with our skin and our preferences, what we like. So I thought I would recommend and use today the most middle of the road foundation. One that I think could work potentially for the most different skin types and preferences. And I think it's the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. I really like this stuff. I wear it in LN3. It does say for all skin types, but I do like the coverage and the feel. Now, just last weekend, I put up that video about lightweight foundations, and some of you mentioned this in the comments section, and I actually kind of felt like this went just outside that lightweight category for me. I felt like the Pro Glow, for example, was a little thinner, ultimately lighter once it's blended into the skin. Not that this is super heavy, but it's just a little more traditional foundation-y than what I was trying to outline in that video, you know? But if we put this in the middle, I would put that L'Oreal Pro Glow as the lighter, even more luminous alternative. And then over here on the other end, for those who love the full coverage, I would say Maybelline Superstay, amazing. And if you want to spend maybe half that much and you can find your right shade in the Hard Candy Glamouflage foundation, that is another fantastic full coverage option that's going to run you $6. But I am going to use this one today, and I'm going to use my little buckfoot applicator here. Speaking of bucks and does, we've got a lot of deer trekking through our backyard. About every day we see this mama deer and two cute little speckled baby deer, and they're running just through our backyard because we got a lot of trees back there, and it's just like so cute. The girls get such a kick out of seeing that. I'm going to use my Real Techniques. This is basically just a short-handled version of the Expert Face Brush. And I'm gonna dab this stuff in. And again, I feel like it's a little more coverage than some of the things I was speaking about in my lightweight video. But it doesn't feel too heavy. It was definitely walking the line as far as do I include it, do I not? But I felt like I had enough, you know, for what I was talking about in that video. But this is a foundation that blends in super easily with brushes, with sponges. Like, there's nothing really challenging about it. It doesn't have a super fast dry down or anything. But if you're choosing a good, like, basic foundation, I feel like it really is this great middle ground. And it is nicely buildable if you wanted to do that. While I think the skin comes away looking pretty fresh after I put it on, there's no, like, visible shimmers or anything in it, just so you know. Now, concealer, I've got to go with something that I think can handle any issue. If I'm trying to boil it down to one, I want the best coverage I can get because I know I can just use a little bit and I'll have full control over the finished look. And I've got to go with the e.l.f. Camo Concealer. $5, it's unbeatable. I wear the shade Medium Sand. Now, if you do need a much more hydrating concealer, if you prefer a stick type concealer, check out the Neutrogena Hydro Boost. I mean, I've talked about that one a lot, but I feel like this is just even better coverage. And I'm using just little dots and dabs of it. Doesn't take a lot. Think about brightness, think about where you're red. This is good over blemishes too. And then I've got this like Real Techniques duo of brushes. They were actually sold as a highlighting duo. But frankly, I think they're great for concealer. I like kind of buffing in my concealer with these. The one is a little bit fuller and it just covers a nice broad surface area. And then sometimes I keep this other one handy when I want to really get in to inner corners, lower lash lines, wherever. And I have tried that newer concealer from CoverGirl as well. I know that's a decent option on the market. I've liked it. I don't feel like it covers quite as well as this. It might be a shade thing. Maybe this is just like the perfect shade to cover darkness for me, and the CoverGirl one that I have is just a little on the light side, could be. But I feel like nothing gives me coverage on my skin quite as well as this e.l.f. Next category we're gonna move into is powder, and this was pretty easy. I love my Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder. I have it in Fair. I think it's probably the most comparable drugstore product to the Laura Mercier loose, translucent loose powder, but I know many people look to powder and say I need a pressed version, and so for that I say L'Oreal True Match for sure. This shade in Buff Beige, I love it all over my face but not necessarily right up under my eye area, so I'm going to kind of actually use a combo of the two today. But with that L'Oreal, it's been around for so long, there's such a shade range, but you have to feel it to really appreciate the fact that it is such a soft, nice powder. Very underrated, I think. Truly, I feel like it's doing what a lot of high-end pressed powders are doing. But I'm going to dab in with my e.l.f. small tapered brush here and just set my under eye slightly. Not everybody probably feels the need to do this, but when I do, I just feel like I get fresher wear all day. Also, of course, going over the T-zone with this. If you're into baking, this works well for that too. In my eyes, it's just the best all-purpose loose powder. And then to just set the rest of my face, I'm gonna use a little bit of my L'Oreal True Match. This is my e.l.f. complexion brush. That last brush was from e.l.f. as well. I don't know if I said that. And I'm just kind of trying to equalize the texture of my skin. I do feel like the Physicians Formula can leave me feeling a little dewy sometimes. And taking this step just locks me in. Next step is bronzer. This was a no-brainer for me. I absolutely love the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the Sculpting shade, which happens to be, I think, exclusive to Walmart. It's really deep, okay? You look at it, you're like, what? Bear with me. Take your e.l.f. complexion brush, take whatever powder brush you like, and I feel like this shade actually has some kind of reddish undertones in it, and it looks so natural once it starts like shearing out on the skin. It looks really, really nice. I love working with this shade. When I'm not doing a tutorial or something, I'm just up here casually on a random day doing my makeup, like I want to grab for this. It's bronzing you up, but it's also that contouring option for you as well. I just love the tone. And you know what else I like? I think some people out there might see this type of video as like, ooh, it's a fun new challenge, like do a full face from Walmart. Absolutely not in my book. Literally everything in this video is something I have talked about before, probably multiple times. Like, they're legit good things, good favorites that I've mentioned. And I love that. It makes me feel good to know that the people who are in rural areas may not have as much access to all the different beauty retailers. I know there's online shopping, but not everybody wants to do it that way. Walmart's got a lot of stuff that's not merely passable, but it's great. And it's gonna come at some of the best prices. So there I am, I'm bronzed up now. Very happy with the look. And now we go to blush, and gosh, are there blush options? Yes, there are. I have to say my top favorite, if I could only stay with one and had to like give away the rest. I love the CoverGirl Instant Cheekbones. But if you're looking for more of a palette option, the best blush palette that really gives you options, Profusion all the way. They've got it for just under $5, and they are so good. Now, you know I like different blushes from Milani. I like my Physicians Formula Saucy Mauve. This is so hard that I have to even choose, but the CoverGirl Instant Cheekbones are something special here. What they all include is basically a highlight in with the blushes. And the center blush is going to be your biggest. That's kind of your main tone to work with, but you can go a little deeper. You can switch things up a bit in that same color family. And then, like I said, you've got that highlighter shade. So this is the color Sophisticated Sable, and I feel like it's a really good, like, works with any makeup look type of blush. I like that while it seems so neutral, it's still got enough gentle, like, rosiness peeking through here. I'm just working with the middle shade so far. Just enough rosiness peeking through to feel blushy enough on me. Now let's dip into our deeper shade and just add a little bit of that, just maybe slightly lower on the cheek. Oh, I love that look. Love the look. And they've got so many good shades. They've got a great peachy option, a really good plummy one that's more of a general, just rosy pink. I love it. Now let me show you what that highlighter looks like. If you really want to get an effect, bring in a slightly smaller brush. This is my Moda Highlight and Glow brush. I've had this for so long, but it did come from Walmart. And I'm just gonna let that come here on top of the cheek. Look at this. Yes. Now, these instant cheekbones have been around long before the highlighter trend ever started. That's what kills me about this. It's like a total hidden gem. It's been sitting there thinking, well, I contain a fabulous highlight and beautiful blush shades that are pigmented, but who's looking at me? You should be having promos and commercials and all that stuff. And take a little bit, and I've lately been kind of highlighting right up in here, just above like the arch of my brow area. I've loved the look of my makeup so much when I do this because, I don't know, we're trying to give the illusion that the cheeks are so dewy and then the forehead's just 100% matte. It doesn't make sense. So you kind of want to carry that highlight through in some different places. I might put some here on the Cupid's bow area. But is that highlight not fantastic? It is just kind of pearlescent. There's nothing chunky. You're not going to run into anything in any of these instant cheekbones that's like glittery or anything like that. They're just wonderful. So now I've basically gone and done the blush and highlight step in one, but I will name another separate product for a great highlight. This CoverGirl True Blend Super Stunner palette, the one called It's Lit. Love this. These textures are so beautiful. I feel like they're as bold as anyone would need a highlight to be, but they're soft. There's a capability of a gentle look to them if you just use them lightly too. So this gives you several tones. One is kind of buttery. There's one in the middle that's really just a straight up light pearly shimmery shade with maybe just a hint of warmth, and then this other shade gives you just a little smidgen of rose pink. But what's also neat is I've noticed they've come out with a shade that basically dupes the middle one. So if you feel like a 3-pan highlighter palette is a bit overkill, look for the shade called Pearl Crush, because that's taking that middle shade that I think is so kind of basic workable highlight for about any skin tone, and they put it into a single. Now, setting spray. A great basic setting spray at a super low price, I think we're talking like $3 for this, is the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set. I do love this, and whenever I pull it back out again, I'm like, this is good enough, you know? And friends, I'm guilty of it too. I've spent God knows how much on different setting sprays, high-end ones, whatever. This totally gets the job done. However, Hard Candy does have the Sheer Envy Primer Mist, and that is pretty hydrating. If you're a lot drier, I think you see an instantaneous kind of dewy benefit from that stuff. But just generally speaking, you want a setting spray, try the e.l.f. It's great. Gotta shut my mouth long enough to actually spray the mist. And boom, here we are, complexion done. Love the look. I think it's all drugstore brushes to boot. Hey, moving on to the brows. My current favorite brow product, which has been for most of the summer, a good chunk of the summer, has been the Maybelline Tattoo Studio Pomade. I think this is probably the easiest to work with pomade texture that I've used. I wear it in ash brown, and I'm not trying to say that like these brow pomades are total no-brainers. I think it takes some finesse. It takes some, like, you know, using a little included brush that comes with it, with the angled side and the spoolie, and kind of flipping back and forth and making sure you get everything all evened out. It's not a no-brainer, and it takes a little practice, but I do end up coming away loving my look with this, loving the staying power. And I think the application, as far as these pomades go, is pretty easy because it's not too goopy and it's also not too dry. It's like just the perfect middle ground. Now here I am getting all casual and just streaking it wherever, but I know this is not going to be everyone's cup of tea, so if you're like, just give me a pencil. Okay, spend $2 on the e.l.f. brow pencil. I love that too. I actually got a PR package that had a bunch of e.l.f. brow stuff in it. And they claimed that that pencil that I always talk about, the $2 one, it's the one called Instant Lift, also a Walmart find. They claim that that's their #1 best-selling brow product. Isn't that cool? Their #2 that they had on there was actually their skinny pencil, because that Instant Lift is just more of a standard size, yet retractable pencil. I really like that. But when it comes to pomades, you just kind of get used to it. This feels like second nature to me now, but it didn't always feel that way. What song's going through your head right now? Tell me in the comments section, what is the song that you just can't get out of your head? Or are you in a no song space right now? But I've got one, and it's the Luke Combs, "She Got the Best of Me, She Broke My Heart." Great song, but it's legit been in my head for, I'm gonna say, a week and a half. I do have another product that I would like to give a shout out to. It's kind of new to me, but I'm loving it. If you saw my bite-sized reviews, you already know it's the Almay Brow Styler. I think this is probably the best like little tinted gel you're gonna find in the drugstore. It's a better value compared to the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Boost and Set. Not that I dislike that product, but you're getting a lot more for your money in here, and it holds like nobody's business. You thought whatever gel you were using was good enough, and then you try this and you're like, wow, like I can feel that those brows are in place. And I'm using hardly any product, especially on top of that pomade that I put on. I don't need a lot. Okay, so whatever are we going to do about eyeshadow primer? Say it with me, gang. Milani eyeshadow primer. We're using that today, yep. I'm not saying it's the only good eyeshadow primer in the world, but I mean, let's think about what's available in Walmart, and yes, you would have to agree this is the best. I know it's got some naysayers out there who are like, well, it just does not work for me. Okay, that's fine. I'm sorry. It's definitely a product where you can get by with using hardly any, though. Keep that in mind. Are you using too much? Just a thought. Eyeshadow palettes. Talk about hard to narrow down. I'm gonna name my favorite, which I think is the best value. I'm gonna say that's Profusion. I've talked about these a lot, but these are the palettes that are like just under $5, and you're getting 10 shades in there. They do have some good bigger palettes, and if you're really drawn to a lot of color, a lot of variety, definitely check those out. But they've got some of these in this size that I think are so manageable, so like easy to visualize the look you might put together just day to day. The mattes are a great basic, and I also love the smoky palette because unlike a lot of smoky palettes that are just straight up kind of, you know, cool gray, it's got a really fun balance in here of just neutrals. Another all matte option, not to throw too many options at you, but the City Mini palettes from Maybelline that are all matte. This is one called Matte About Town. They've got a warmer one, a more purpley one as well. But these are so smooth and nice. But if you're looking at what Profusion's giving you in the mattes and you're wanting something slightly different, Maybelline's got like 3 distinct all matte City Mini palettes to look through. Best warm palette gotta be no doubt Rimmel Spice Edition. Yeah, don't sleep on Rimmel. I haven't loved every one of their Magnifies palettes, but this is even better than Urban Decay's Naked Heat, I promise you that. And then just generally speaking, I think Milani's got some really good eyeshadows. They have a little bit larger palettes that also run a little bit larger price tag. bag, like those $20 eye palettes that are good, but you know, they're pricey. I love their little everyday eyes palettes though. These are so basic and simple. They actually come with a decent brush too, and this is the must-have naturals one. But there are many shades I love in this format, the plummy one, the warmer one. But today I am going to use my Profusion Smoky palette, and I'm gonna start off, what do I wanna start off with? Let's use a little bit of nutmeg in our crease to get things going. I love this color, the dustiest of deep dusty roses. I just love the different directions in this palette. They give you a nice plum, you know, you've actually got a warmer kind of brown thrown in. And I'm not just talking about them because I think it's a fun color variety or whatever, or a really good price. Like, I actually think the quality is phenomenal. Great pigmentation, smooth, blendable mattes, nice shimmers. And now just blending out the edge of that with a bare brush. Hope I've been in focus here. My camera's kind of been a little thrown by the new background. Let's take Top Notch here. I like using this as sort of a blending helper type shade, and we'll just let that come right over the edge. Easy peasy. And then a little bit of Pure. This is another matte in this palette. And we're just setting the stage, y'all, setting the stage. Here we go. Okay, the other day I had Biddy up here and I was like trying to organize some things, and she was sitting up in this chair, and she had gotten this Bobbi Brown tinted lip balm that I left out and an eyeshadow brush. She got the cap off the tinted lip balm, and I look over and I can see she's just jamming the eyeshadow brush down into it. I had to nip that situation in the bud real quick. Okay, we're going to do some of this Teleport color right here. It's kind of like a, I don't know, a cool bronzy shade. Can I even say that? Little taupey bronze mix. And I like how the shimmers in this palette like aren't trying to be anything wild. Do you feel like sometimes the shimmers these days coming out in certain palettes, it's like brands are trying to give you like beyond shimmer now. It must contain glitter. It must be this weird like creaminess and glitteriness. Like they're trying to reinvent shimmer, when really, if we just have an easy to work with shimmer, we'll be happy. Okay, we're going into Twinkle. This shade has a little bit of a, I don't know, a soft goldeny quality to it. Brighten things up right in here. And then I think I'm going to use some Raven, which is our matte black, which gives this palette, I think, a ton of versatility. Because, I mean, you can immediately just get as dark as you want to be when there's a matte black included. So I am choosing to just pat that on like the outer half of my lid. So doing some overlapping of that taupey bronze and kind of just letting it hit the crease as well. I like it. A little sultry. A little sultry eye for the pre-K drop-off. Who cares? I don't. Wear the makeup you want to wear. It doesn't really matter if you're just going to the grocery store. Like, God, if I relied on really special circumstances to dictate whether or not I was going to glam up that day, let's just say I wouldn't be glam very much. Do what you want. I'm just taking this brush. I've not actually applied any extra product to it, but we used it with nutmeg in the crease, and now I'm just kind of like helping everything blend and sort of just smoking out what's going on here. You get that prettiest just deep eye, like I'm digging it. And where I could go smoky all over everything and really take it underneath and all, I'm gonna just kind of keep it above the eye for the lift. And then guess what? This can be found at Walmart, the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight. This is something I really like down here because it lessens the look of redness in your lower inner rim. And yes, I know I said brow highlight, but this stays the best out of anything down there. Moving on to eyeliner now. I feel like Milani has a lot of great liner options. They've got some nice long wearing pencils, retractable options, the liquid, this Stay Put Matte 17-hour wear. I've got it in the really dark brown right now, but the black is wonderful also. And if you're a person who struggles with like your eyeliner not wearing long enough and kind of like transferring up into different spaces of your eye, this is really good for staying put, as the name implies. So I'm just going to take this across my lash line. I recently got some new Milani pencils in some nice, rich, like kind of deep jewel tones. And then on top of that, they've got the new Line Play product, which is like eyeliner and liquid shadow in one. The video called Just Give Me Something Different Already, or whatever I titled it, I talked about that. I feel like maybe on the topic of eyeshadows, I should have talked a little bit more about like single shadows. I mean, L'Oreal has some great single shadows, little pressed matte single shadows, and then also the ones that are like this style of packaging, like the tamped down, really pigmented shades. And those are nice and all. I just feel like you're never gonna beat the value that a palette gives you. So I've done no funny business with that liner. I just took it straight across the upper lash line. And now we're going to do some mascara. Favorite mascara has got to be the CoverGirl Supersizer. Like, it's been years that this has been a standout to me, and it's been something that I've continually come back to. If you're familiar with it, you know it's kind of a special, unique wand in that two sides of it are like completely bare, and those are sort of the sides where you load up your lashes with product, and then you've got your comby sides that can help it on through. And I think it's great for establishing length, never clumping things together, never getting out of hand from a gooping perspective, or if you have curl resistant lashes, it doesn't weigh them down too much. But the staying power is really good all day. Can I show you what the brush looks like? See how if I turn it that way, it looks flatter, and then you can kind of see those bristles coming up. So it's a different kind of brush for sure. But much like a brow pomade, you do kind of get used to it. More than anything, what probably keeps me coming back to this though is that it holds a curl. And I can use it on my lower lashes and get by. It's like, it's a little bigger brush sometimes than I would choose to use down there. I love the really little wands if I can make them work. But there, that was okay, and it gives me a little something and it's not gonna smear. I'm not planning to apply false lashes today, but I can definitely give you a favorite false lash recommendation that you can buy at Walmart. I think the Wispies, either from, I think, does Salon Perfect still make a wispy style? Or Ardell, I believe both are sold at Walmart, but they're just a great classic style. You know, a lot of length, kind of coming straight out from the center of the eye, but not too much. You know, I don't think they're too overboard. I'd put them more toward the natural end as far as false lashes go, the more subtle side. But if you like something more dramatic, the Salon Perfect Extension Seeker. There's one I think called the Bee Curl, and I've worn it before. I'll have to pop up a picture maybe of me with it on. That's your fabulous length, like I'm going out on the town. Those are great. And if you're more of a false lash beginner and you just kind of don't even know where to start, you've never really used them before, I will link below. Reminder M, put the link down there. I'll link to my newest Lashes for Beginners video because I've got some great things that'll be the easiest first ones for you to try. I'm gonna round this out talking about lips. If there was a kind of had to pick one type of product here, I would have to say the L'Oreal Color Riche Shines. I love these so very much. I love the texture, the shine, the luxurious feel across the lips, the way they feel hydrating, but also the way they offer fully opaque color. It's checking all the boxes. Varnished Rosewood, talk this shade to death, but that is the My Lips But Better, really great shade for every day. If we're talking long wear, honestly, it's the CoverGirl Outlast. This shade that I've got here is Universal Nude, and I've kind of kept it in the box so I can remember the shade. That's the one downfall. When you get them out, you're gonna find that they're numbered on the bottom, and it's hard to remember a shade name. You just got a number. But basically, this is liquid lipstick followed up by a balmy step that you put on top, and it kind of helps not only preserve the color, but actually keeps it feeling comfortable all day on your lips. If you wanna know somebody who swears by this stuff, that would be my mom. But they are really good, and they really do not fade out into little lines around the lips, which is her big thing. So if that's an issue for you, or you just love the practical long wear, this is the greatest because it's actually gonna feel comfortable. And then gloss-wise, two options here. The Revlon Ultra HD Vinyl. These are spectacular. I have a whole video trying on the whole range. I think this shade called Birthday Suit is probably super popular. This got a lot of good feedback in that video. Kind of a soft, sort of winter pink, I would call that shade. because it's not too warm, but it's still pinky. And then I love my Milani Keep It Full glosses. These are a great alternative to Buxom. They have kind of that cooling feel on the lips. Really great shine, some nice color options. I love Rosewood. This is the Rosy Bronze shade right here. What I don't love is that you won't always find every shade at every retailer that carries Milani, so that's kind of a bummer. But I know I do for sure find these at Walmart. I have a video where I've tried on quite a few of the shades in that line, so I'll link to that too. But today I think it's going to be an Ultra HD vinyl day, and I'm wearing this little shirt that I got on sale at Macy's. It says Mama on it. Actually, it's a maternity shirt, and it's got these cute little orangey flowers. I'm going to play off of that a little bit with this shade called She's on Fire. So a little bit warmer red. We're still kind of feeling some summer vibes, you know, it's hot. Just because I had like a cranberry eye a few videos ago, I wasn't trying to make it fall, although I may very well be decorating for fall this weekend. So with these, you're getting this lovely level of shine in all the color. I don't know how many of you saw that video I did where I reviewed them, tried them all on, but it's really giving me a similar experience to what I get from the Bobbi Brown crushed liquid lip. Shiny, full colored, but glossy. All right, are we loving it? I'm loving it. I think that wraps everything up. If you had any questions, if there's something I left out, if there was a certain category where you absolutely hated the product I recommended and you need more alternatives, ask me in the comments section and I'll try to work with you there. But I am truly happy with the way this look came together. As you guys saw, tons of long-standing favorites in this video, not just for Walmart, but just makeup in general. Thank you so much, Marnie, for requesting this video. And anytime you got a video request where you're thinking, I wish somebody on YouTube would do blah, 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 just let me know. I'll do that for you. Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you very soon. Bye.